Thank you. I've been to almost 10 of these, and so this is the first opportunity that I've had to speak. And it's quite an honor to be able to represent the city and the city council in this. And I want to thank you all for being here on this special evening. Tonight is about honoring this wonderful city and celebrating all that it has to offer. With this in mind, I would like to extend a special thank you to all of our speakers tonight who work every day for the betterment of this city. And you heard some of them introduced, but I will go through them once again because they're going to be speaking to each of you. It's not all about me tonight. Deputy Mayor and District 3 Council Member Joy Lines, District 2 Council Member Kelly Hinsey, District 4 Council Member Bruce Ehlers, District 1 Council Member Allison Blackwell, and from the Encinitas Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center, CEO Sherry Yardley, Cardiff 101 Treasurer Jim O'Hara, Encinitas 101 Executive Director Irene Pune, and Lucadia 101 Executive Director Brittany Corrales. Next, let me give a big thanks to our event sponsors, Cox and RPG, and our gold sponsors, SDG&E, Scripps Health, and our table sponsors, the City of Encinitas, the Main Street Associations of Cardiff 101, Encinitas 101, and Lucadia 101, plus the Community Resource Center, Belmont Village, and Ting. Thank you very much. And I too would like to thank all of the restaurants that brought the food and provided the sustenance here tonight and the beverages. Encinitas is becoming well known for its restaurant business, and I'm very proud of that. It's a great city to eat, dine, and be entertained in, and I appreciate all the effort that goes into making that happen. And I also want to thank the Community Center staff and the Solana Center for making this a zero waste event. Very important here in our city. And again, to my fellow council members, I am honored to be able to work alongside each of you for the betterment of our city. And I'm so proud of the work that we've been able to do together. But let it be known that the actual work is done by the city manager, Pamela Antill, and her team, with Assistant Manager Jennifer Campbell, the department heads, and the wonderful staff who truly exemplify what public service is and should be. So thank you very much for all the work that you all do. So I'm happy to be hosting tonight's event back here at the Community Center. I really appreciated the chance to celebrate at the Alila Maria Resort Hotel for the last couple of years, a beautiful venue with Pacific Ocean views, but I wanted to bring this event back home and use this wonderful public facility. The other part about being back here is that it lets me wax a little nostalgically. You see, almost 50 years ago, I was a baby-faced teen running around the campus of Oak Crest Junior High. And I was taking photographs as part of a journalism class and produced the yearbook, which was a really valuable experience. I was very into photography, and the opportunity to produce such a wonderful publication and do the photography was really great. And when I broke out the book for preparation for tonight, I was reading a few of the signatures that came along in here. And I would have to say that, you know, my friend Danny, when I read his note, I'm sure I thought, well, I may be weird, but at least I can spell it. One of the more amazing things about contributing to a project like the yearbook in the middle years of my formal education is that I had essentially set in motion a career. I have been a photojournalist and involved in the graphic arts ever since. And it is for that reason that when planning tonight's event, I decided to build this presentation around as many photographs as possible. And that approach will also allow me to take advantage of the old saying about how a picture is worth 1,000 words. Something else that's going to be a little different tonight is that I've asked my colleagues on the City Council to join me in a more formal way to describe the state of the city. So expect to hear from each of them and the business organizations that they collaborate with, the entrepreneurs who create a community that continues to flourish. And of course, I must express gratitude to my wonderful family, and especially my wife, Cynthia, who joins me here tonight. Thank you. She has been a tremendous life partner and has provided endless support for all the crazy things that I've decided to do during the last 38 years. Without her continued moral support and compassion, I would not be where I am today. Thank you. And speaking of 38 years of marriage, just the other night we celebrated our anniversary with a delicious dinner at Urban Sea downtown. Afterwards, we went for a walk and stopped by one of my favorite Encinitas stores, Bliss 101. In the back of the shop, we came across a group of people who were learning to paint, spending a Thursday evening with a talented artist, Wade Koniakowski, who was sharing his gifts with them. This reinforced the theme I selected for this evening, which is Encinitas is a city of creators. Here are three creators that surfboard makers Don Hansen and Ed Wright and writer Chris Ahrens. Their contributions to the surf industry put Encinitas on the map as not only a place with several wonderful surf spots, but also a place where you could get the latest and greatest surfboards. And of course, one of the most well-known Encinitas creators was Paul Ecke Sr. He started a ranch here that eventually made the poinsettia a part of the celebration of the holidays in many homes around this country and the world. For years, the Ecke Ranch produced the material for countless colors of poinsettias and perfected the process of growing and shipping the plants around the globe, which is a big reason why Encinitas was known as the flower capital of the world. The Ecke family is also well known for their local philanthropy, providing land for Little League baseball fields, the YMCA, part of the Botanic Garden, among many other generous things. Paul Ecke III is here tonight, sitting at the table with Scripps, because he is a big part of the Scripps Foundation and has helped raise a significant amount of money to help with the reconstruction of the hospital. And that transformation of a small health practice created by Doctors Cook, Clark, and Summers into a state-of-the-art hospital serving the medical needs of the region has been really important for our community as well. A renovation of the central part of the campus that will cost more than $500 million is currently underway. And it's thanks in large part to a $25 million contribution from Debbie and Warner Lusardi. Thanks to all who have contributed and the more than 1,700 doctors, nurses, and support staff who provide critical medical care to the patients who use the hospital. They are all creating an environment for a healthier community. Now let's get into the central part of this evening's program, which is a virtual tour of our city, as told by the people who represent the residents of our city on the City Council and Main Street Association, who will talk about what is new and interesting in their corner of Encinitas. Kicking it off will be Sherry Yardley, who is with the Encinitas Chamber of Commerce, our host for the evening and the backbone of our business community. The Chamber does a fantastic job of promoting our city to visitors and residents alike. They are providing invaluable feedback to the city so that doing business here can be as easy and enjoyable as possible. She has put together a great team, and I appreciate all the work that they do. Thank you, Sherry.
Good evening. As Tony said, I am Sherry Yardley, the CEO of the Encinitas Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. Is there an echo? Okay, it's in my ears only, I guess. It's been so wonderful to see so many familiar faces tonight and make new connections with others. Speaking of connections, the Encinitas Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center has connected with so many during the year, whether at a new members ribbon cutting, hosting a community-wide expo, or welcoming visitors to our wonderful city. We forge relationships and create opportunities and collaborations with other organizations that bring resources, support, solutions, and funding to our businesses located throughout Encinitas and North County. The Chamber has developed multiple committees where our members can make a bigger impact within the community. These committees are dedicated to collaborating with local, state, and federal entities for the greater good of our city's economic growth. We are pleased to debut our first government affairs event next week and encourage you to attend. See the invitation on the screen? Or it was on the screen. Today, the Chamber is a powerful voice and an integral part of the Encinitas community landscape. As the #1 resource and partner for business success, the Chamber supports the economic ecosystem for our entire city, bringing growth and sustainability to all its businesses encompassing Leucadia, Cardiff, downtown Encinitas, Olivehane, and New Encinitas. Our member base is over 300 strong, made up of a diverse group of new and established businesses from large companies to small nonprofits. The Chamber provides multiple opportunities for business owners to connect, collaborate, and confer, providing a means for growth and prosperity. Each month, we hold several networking experiences such as the Moonlight Mixer, Coffee Connections, and Chamber on Tap for our members and business community. And I'd like to make a special shout out to Joseph at Broad Street Doco for hosting us for coffee and donuts each month. Thanks, Joseph. In June, we are excited to introduce a Young Professionals Group, which will provide a safe, fun space for the younger professionals in our city to congregate and become stronger leaders in our community. They will meet in various locations throughout the city, showing their support and patronizing those establishments. In February, our Education and Networking Committee, in conjunction with Chamber member Max Lux Video for Business, launched the Chamber Chat Live podcast, giving businesses, nonprofit organizations, individuals, and tourist attractions another opportunity to generate awareness and community engagement. If you haven't tuned in, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. We have also formed meaningful partnerships with our local media outlets and now have a bi-weekly article in the Coast News which features our members and their impact and influence in the community. Beyond hosting community-wide events like Small Business Saturday and our recent Senior Expo, where we hosted over 200 attendees and more than 40 exhibitors at this free community event, we are also investing back into the community and its future leaders. This year, we doubled our efforts to support the next generation by debuting Rising Stars, a program where we recognize 27 San Diego Union High School District seniors at a monthly breakfast. Such inspiring and heartwarming stories. And we continue to support all our local schools with our annual Salute to Education ceremony, which will be held on May 23rd this year. To help us continue to raise funds to then reinvest back into our community, we host our annual Oktoberfest that sees around 15,000 people enjoying a day of German-related festivities. The Encinitas Visitor Center is the official visitor center of Encinitas. We have put tourism at the forefront and promote all corners of the city and North County attractions to both visitors and residents. Our recently published Encinitas Community and Visitors Guide, Iconic Encinitas magazine, has become an important advertising and editorial vehicle for our businesses. We continue to actively seek editorial opportunities with key influences such as AAA Westways Magazine, Sunset Magazine, and several tourism bloggers. A recent collaboration with the Encinitas Advocate and B-Cycle brings to all a monthly Hidden Gems feature. The visitor center has also begun to pop up on the weekends around town, encouraging visitors and residents to patronize the many wonderful establishments and activities we have in our beautiful and unique city. The Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center will continue to explore meaningful ways to positively impact our business community and visitors by continuing to make it easy to do business in Encinitas, by creating more collaborations for the benefit of all of Encinitas, and by being the go-to resource for all individuals wanting to grow and thrive in our community. And now, I'd like to introduce our Deputy Mayor, Joy Lyons, to share updates from her district.
Thank you, Sherry. Sherry and the Chamber do such an amazing job, and our Mayor Kranz and my friend Tony couldn't have done a better job of characterizing the city of Encinitas as a creative city. And so I am honored to be here, and I want to welcome you, friends and neighbors, many faces I know. And to start out with, I do want to introduce my family that's here, which is, we'll see some photos of it, but I don't want to introduce my husband, Rob Ashley, who's sitting right over here. And I'm excited to have him here. You'll see some photos of our extended family come up on the screen. So many of you who know me know that I come from an environmental background. And so I want to take a few minutes to talk about some of the environmental accomplishments that we've achieved over the last year. And when I sat down to list them, they're way too lengthy to cover in just a few minutes. So excuse me for just hitting the highlights, but I'm very proud of them. One of the things that I know I share in common with you, many of you in this room, is that a healthy environment results in a healthy community. And many people in our community embrace this, and you have been very supportive of all of these initiatives to help us move them forward, and thank you for that, and I hope you continue. So I want to start by saying last year we planted 264 new trees around our community, and just so far this year we've planted another 100. And at our last Arbor Day, we also gave away 30 trees to the public. We are a Tree City USA. We love it. We've been a Tree City USA, and we really are. We really embrace all the objectives. Now, also, we are a Bee City USA. So I don't know if many people know what a Bee City USA is, but we do want to foster pollinators in our community. Bees, of course, but there are many other pollinators, and we will be working towards improving our habitat for pollinators. In addition, we have a habitat stewardship program, and we've been working really well, really nicely, really progressively forward to achieve restoration of our open spaces. We have already achieved the restoration of 3 of our sub-watersheds, and we're beginning a 4th in our top priorities this year. And so that's a great accomplishment. And I do want to put my glasses on. Sorry. I do want to talk about a few of the things that we've approved this year. One of them is preservation of mature trees. And it's a policy that our staff is currently working on to advance, and there'll be open public meetings on this as the year goes through. Preservation of mature trees. Another is native plant policy. These both will help to improve our open space and improve our natural habitats. Very thrilled about them. Another kind of nuanced thing people might not know about, but we have a heritage tree program. And one of the things we have done is expand that program so that we can identify really important heritage trees, but also heritage groves. And that's going to be helpful to us. And I don't want to neglect to say our climate action plan is a gold standard plan, and we're moving forward. We are capturing the numbers of carbon sequestration from all our trees, and it's really helping us meet our objectives and our goals for a climate action plan. So I just have another minute to talk about District 3. And we are doing some amazing things. Again, I just hit on a few, but I think District 3, which includes Cardiff and some of Old Encinitas and New Encinitas, is amazing. Some of the work we're working on is we're finishing up as far as streets, we're finishing up the Birmingham Drive project, and it's almost complete. It will be going to Planning Commission soon, and we're looking for funding for it. We're also capturing the legacy of Buy a Piece of the Walk community art piece. In addition, right now we have funding for the Santa Fe Road improvements, which is east of the 5. And you'll start to see construction there soon. It's going out to bid. The Verde underpass of the railroad tracks. We have sought a federal railroad administration grant for the funding of this very important connectivity from the east side of the tracks to the west side of the tracks at Verde in Cardiff. I see some of our Cardiff residents are happy. So to summarize, we've done a lot of also sidewalks, bike improvements, just safe routes to school. Just last night at our city council meeting, we approved some safe routes to school and some buffered bike lanes. So there's always a lot going on to help with mobility, safe mobility around our city. We are in the process of expanding the cycle track along the 101. You'll see that. You probably have already seen that. We have had approximately $3.6 million in funding over the years for shoreline preservation, and we have just requested another $50,000 to improve the next phase of the Cardiff Shoreline Project. That's just a few of the things that are really making quality of life better in our community. Now, because of time, I need to move on, but I just want to say I'm so proud of the Cardiff 101 and the Cardiff Town Council for all the great work they do in our district. And I would love to brag about the farmers market, but instead of doing that, I'm going to introduce Jim O'Hare, who hopefully will brag about the new farmers market. Thank you.
Snuck up on me there. Hi, everyone. I've got 3 minutes. I might go a little bit over that, but I want to let you know I'm going to go as quickly as I can because there's 5 cupcakes on this plate over here, and if I don't speak quickly, they'll be gone when I'm done. All right. It is true. Cardiff 101 has so much going on right now. It's one of the most active 101s I've ever seen anywhere, and it's incredible. At Cardiff 101, our vision is to provide attractive entrances into Cardiff by the Sea to secure a safe and healthy environment and to promote a walkable community that provides goods and services for local residents and visitors alike. However, the scope of Cardiff 101 goes beyond that vision. We're engaging in and supporting our local residents and businesses and are actively involved in our community, our landscape, the image of our community, and to an unprecedented extent, I think. To see what we're doing, you have to see where we've come from, though. I think Cardiff 101 currently is a story of past, present, and future. The past starts with a short history. I'm going to tell you about when I got involved with Cardiff 101. When I got involved with Cardiff 101 was as a business owner. Those early interactions made it clear that the organization was dealing with a little bit of turmoil from the pandemic and a lot of transition of staff. But in those times, there were 3 shining lights in the organization. The first one was the executive director, Allison Wolichowski. She wasn't okay with the status quo. She was armed with an intention to build an organization that did more than simply serve its mission. And I think she's done that. The other 2, these were my tone setters early on. They were our tone setters for our whole board. They were tone setters in our community. Susan Hayes, who's over there somewhere. Susan, where are you? Susan served both the community and, of course, the city for years. And Christy Morlock here on my right-hand side. These are our tone setters at Cardiff 101 who have put everything into action. When I was asked to join the board, my decision was in fact based on whether they would stick around. If they weren't going to be there, I didn't see it happening. I saw these 3 as the tone setters, getting it all done for us, getting us all motivated and keeping us on track. So thank you, all 3 of you, for all that you've done. And you guys are about to hear all that they've done. Over the past 2 years, we have built a board of directors who are 1, invested in the community, 2, they're innovators and problem solvers. They go out of their way to make things happen. 3, and most importantly, they're passionate about C101's mission to grow Cardiff 101 into a thriving Main Street organization that other Main Street organizations will wish they could be like. I'm going to introduce those people right now because they're all incredible people. First one I want to introduce is our longest-standing board member. She's also our president, Joy Shepard. Joy, you're the person that keeps us all together, keeps us balanced in discussion, and you support every effort the board puts through tonight. She was even helping me get my water tonight. It was amazing. Thank you, Joy. You're incredible. Our remaining board members are all amazing people as well. Rich Reisner, who is not here tonight. Tim Perky, who had an emergency, who's not here as well. But of course, Jared Rodriguez, who's here. Debbie Levis. Greg Lang. I've mentioned the other board members. Incredible board of members. They're more about action than they are about ideas, and it shows in every meeting we have. It doesn't stop there, though. Cardiff 101 Main Street's also proud to share that we've developed committees that are actively engaged in matters which directly affect Cardiff by the Sea. We've got a design committee, organization, promotions, economic development. And in 2023, we added to the committee of the Cardiff Town Council. A huge step for us as it rounds out our mission and helps us provide the community voice that's so strongly encouraged and valued by Cardiff 101. The other main part of Cardiff 101, and something that we do that's super effective. Cardiff 101 has our membership and guest resources and features. They're our best feature. They're our best resources, our membership, made up of our residents as well as our merchants. We host 4 annual events that showcase that very detail. Each year, it all kicks off with Taste of Cardiff. Here comes the plug. Coming up next week, first Thursday of every May. Tickets are on sale. You can volunteer. I've done my part now. Here we go. All right. It's an amazing event which brings together our businesses, our community, and our residents. We look forward to seeing all of you there. Our second event, Cardiff Dog Days of Summer, has done nothing but grow. We're excited to see it as it's moved from a small street to a larger street up to the community park where it's now thriving and going strong. I want to take a moment to thank Nick Buck. I didn't see you, Nick. Nick Buck is here, Parks and Rec, for all of your support of this event. Thank you, Nick. Another event that we work with all of the main streets and, of course, the Chamber of Commerce is a Small Business Saturday. We've combined all of our marketing efforts and then featured merchants and crafters in our communities. And, of course, in Cardiff, we featured Christina Zello, a local artist who created an amazing painting on canvas, which we gave out as gifts with purchases to all of our participants over that event. Just a great way to work with all of our community members and, of course, get involved and support our local businesses. Our fourth event is the SoCal twist on the holidays, as I like to call it. Nothing says surfing Santa like the Kringle Mingle. And if you've been, you know what I'm talking about. We offer an opportunity to begin your holiday shopping by supporting our local artists and our entrepreneur, and an opportunity to begin your shopping our local artists and entrepreneurs, families, and participants can even get a photo with Santa and listen to some amazing tunes from our local budding artists. We've used our opportunities to connect with and get feedback from our membership. A stalwart example of those opportunities of events are Cardiff 101's member mixers. Our organization holds one member mixer every quarter. We pride ourselves in providing a quality presentation either from one of our members or a community partner who can add value to the event in addition to networking opportunities for all of our mixer providers. And of course, you are all invited to join us anytime if you want to find out more about it, get to meet some of the people in the Cardiff community. And of course, we also have a ton of fun at those events. Community events. Can't be a great Main Street without amazing community events. We've got plenty on top of that. Cardiff 101's been lucky to partner with our local organizations at events throughout the year. That includes Cyclovia, of course, the Kook Run, and Camp Shred as a nonprofit partner. We're also grateful to be included in the Cardiff School Open House and Encinitas Spring and Fall Street Fairs. We appreciate and value all of these partnerships. So if you're one of those partners, thank you so much for all of your support, all of your camaraderie, and of course, all of your hard work throughout the year. And a huge milestone this year, a huge milestone for Cardiff 101 was, as Joy touched on, the Cardiff Farmers Market has come to town. We're excited to share that after many years of planning, we're able to dedicate our resources to the creation of the Cardiff Farmers Market, which will be a major part of Cardiff 101 Main Street's future growth and the fulfillment of our mission. Partnering with Miracosta College, our new Saturday market helps provide a much-needed addition to Cardiff by the Sea and its surrounding towns and districts. People can ride their bikes there. They can take the new bike paths. They can walk there from certain areas of town. And it's very local, very central, and we're really proud of that. We'd like to also take this opportunity to thank Kevin Doyle. Kevin Doyle, where are you? There he is, Kevin Doyle over there. Kevin Doyle has been is the founding marketing manager of the Cardiff Farmers Market. And we thank you so much for your efforts, Kevin. We couldn't have got it off the ground without your help. Our market is unique to Encinitas, being the only one accepting SNAP and EBT payments. This makes it open to the entire public, not just the people who can afford to go there, but people who maybe are looking for some help to get things done or want to get organic groceries, but there's some roadblock in the way for them. We're able to provide that at the Cardiff Farmers Market, and it's really unique. It's something we're extremely proud of. It's an amazing feeling to know that your organization, your community are helping farmers, crafters, specially prepared food vendors make a living each and every week in Cardiff. So as you can see, there's a lot going on at Cardiff 101. We're a town that's known for its beach vibe, its surfing, its artists, its walkability. And I think when we talked about this speech, we talked about featuring growth. And we've grown a lot. And we're really proud of that growth. But I think what I've come to realize throughout this speech is it's not growth, it's growing. It's an action. And there's a lot going on with that action. And I want to invite all of you guys to come out here, whether you're on another board or whether you're another, to come out to the Cardiff 101. Come out to the Taste next week. Tickets are on sale. My last plug.
Jim, let me say that, when I chair council meetings, the podium has a little timer on it.
I'm getting there, wrapping up right now. Yes.
And when we set the parameters for this, where I was going to let council members speak and let the 101s and the chamber speak, it was 3 minutes for council members and 2 minutes for Main Streets. So
got it. We're finishing up right now.
We've just done one district, and we've got 3 more districts to go. So if we want to get it done before midnight, you need to kick it over to whoever is to follow you.
Well, I'd be done right now. Here we go.
And the Main Street associations, please do not introduce each of your board members, okay?
I want to invite you to come out and volunteer. Come out and enjoy Taste. Join a committee. If you're not part of Cardiff, join a committee in your town, in your district. I also want to invite you to come on and check out our board of directors. I want you to invite you mainly, get in on the action.
Hey, Jim.
All right? Thank you very much.
Yes. Apparently you didn't get that.
I believe I got 3 minutes, which I'll try to keep it at that. I hear my screaming baby outside, so if I go past 3 minutes, we'll bring her inside, and that will really get me to stop. So good evening, everybody. What a pleasure to be gathered here with all of you tonight. My name is Kelly Shea-Hinsey, and I have had the pleasure to serve District 2 as a council member for 4.5 years. But this, thank you. This is the first year that I'm standing in front of all of you as a mom. And this is the first year for me I'm really understanding the generational cycles that I'm part of here in the city of Encinitas. So I'm the daughter and granddaughter of public school elementary teachers. My dad, John Hinsey, and my mom, Julie Hinsey, collectively have nearly 70 years of teaching experience between them. And I can tell you that's a lot of students in Encinitas who had my mom as their teacher and continue to still have her as their teacher. I live next door to my grandmother, and she turned 99 last month, and yes. So living next door to her, we are uniquely positioned to get an exhaustive oral history of Encinitas in her perception of what that history of Encinitas is. And I'm so fortunate that my husband, Nick Satterpour, who's right here, was willing to uproot his life and come to Encinitas to start our family. And not only that, but that he possesses a true and genuine patience to receive the stories of my 90-year-old grandmother bestows upon us. So no matter how many times we've heard them, he's still patient. And thankfully, in August of last year, we added a new family member for whom all of these stories and many more are brand new. So there's our daughter, right on cue. That's Lakey. Her name is Lakey Shea Satterpour. And we're here making a brief appearance before bedtime. Oh, look, she's already waving at all of you. That's so good. Good job, Lakey. Say hi. She's saying hi. So I'm going to just briefly reflect on the 4 projects that I think are most important to me and most important to our community. And I see them as the common theme of braiding our generations together and expanding the public space that we have for our students and our families and our elders. So the El Portal Undercross is the project that motivated me to run for office. I went to Palecki, I scramped across the railroad tracks with my mom, who was a teacher there. I'm not supposed to talk about that, but we did that for a long time. So this is the first year that rather than illegally crossing the tracks or queuing up in long lines of congestion, this August, the first class of kindergartners went walking, biking, rolling, skating off to elementary school. And yeah, that was major. And I knew it was gonna be epic, but the photos that my friends were sending me of their first day of school, it was like a whole pack of the family, like grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles and the neighbor from down the street and the dogs and then the friends. They were all just like waddling off to school together and this big gaggle surrounding their little ones who are having their sacred rite of passage to first day of school. And that wouldn't have happened if they were gonna go in a car. That wouldn't have happened. But the fact that they could walk so freely, it showed me the true power of what public spaces that support all 4 generations, or how many generations you can have living together, are able to utilize those spaces. So a long-time running joke from me, which probably most of you have heard, so sorry that you're hearing it again, but it was that I would not have kids until the streetscape, phase 1, was complete, and that the undercross matched up with phase 1. And I also wanted to take part in that ease and that simple joy of walking my child to school. So you can call it God, or you can call it fate, or maybe it was city staff working extra hours with shovels to make this happen, but our daughter was born just 7 days before the ribbon cutting for both projects took place. And sitting there watching that ceremony was like this out-of-body experience for me, where I was like, whoa, the miracle of life, that is intense, but what is more miraculous, that I had a baby 7 days ago, or that the streetscape and the El Portal undercross are finally done? So we've widened the sidewalks, we've lowered the speeds, we've dedicated the bike lanes, we have shady trees that unite our communities on east and west side of the train to make safe, reasonable, sane travel between our schools, our beaches, our beloved businesses, and our farmers markets. It's our lifeblood. It's historic Highway 101, and it's now all of those things. It's sensible, it's safe, it's sane. You can cross it with bikes and strollers, and I love watching the elders strolling along this stretch. So next I'd like to highlight Pacific View, that will be reopening very soon as a community arts center. I attended Pacific View when I was a kid, and my mom taught kindergarten there. I'm curious to know who else in the room attended Pacific View, or had kids who attended Pacific View, or there's Carolyn, frequent flyer. I can always rely on you to be in the crowd. Cynthia, anyone else? Oh, Brittany Corrales, yes. Oh, Lydell, I don't know you, but I can't wait to hear your story of attending Pacific View. So acquiring and renovating Pacific View feels like one of those Encinitas miracles I talk about from time to time, where just like, all of a sudden, staff makes it happen. They pull a rabbit out of the hat. And Pacific View is definitely one of those. But it wasn't that easy. It was due to the tireless advocacy of a lot of people who are in the room today, including our own Mayor Krantz, who made that legendary decision to purchase that property and steward it for the public for generations to come. So the last project, I'm wrapping up here, I promise, and I don't want to make any assumptions, but do we happen to have any beach lovers in the room? I don't see anybody raise up. I see a few. So this is the 50-year sand replenishment program, which we've been hearing about for close to 50 years. And this is a project that was, over 50 years ago, dedicated Encinitas started envisioning. Our devoted staff have passed this torch time after time to the next generation of staff members, and we've had a very effective leader in Mike Levin, who has finally delivered this project for us. So I'm really happy to report that we are just a few months away from the first installment of sand. And that's gonna bring back for us wide sandy beaches for years, which means more fun in the sun, contemplative beach walks for those who dabble in that. And with all this talk about our town being so busy, I think it's gonna really make us feel more connected to open space, to have time alone, and to feel connected to the natural world that we all value and our reason for living here. So I'm just gonna close it up, and I wanna say that it's really truly the honor of my lifetime to be able to share these legacies alongside all of you. And keeping in mind an awareness of our past, I really do look forward to the future. And I'm looking at the young people here in the room, where the next generation of Encinitas residents have the opportunity to bring your creativity and bring your ideas and continue making this a city that is pretty much as close to paradise as it gets. So that's all from me, but I have the other pleasure of introducing somebody who's very dear to my heart, somebody who works tirelessly for our city, who I think deserves more vacations, and that person is the Executive Director of Encinitas 101 Main Street, and that's Irene Pian.
Hello, Encinitas. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, hi. So my name is Irene. I am the director of Encinitas 101 Main Street. I have been with E101 for 7 years now, and I love my job. I'm super lucky to be able to do what I do every day. Serving such a wonderful community has been a pleasure and one that I hope to continue for many years. I think we can all agree that our town is unique and full of history, culture, and the world's best beaches. What makes Encinitas truly special, though, are its people. It was amazing to watch how quickly we'll pull together in times of need. The past few years were tough, but Encinitas is tougher. We're extremely resilient, as we all saw. Most know us for our staple events in downtown Encinitas, but there is one that I would love to highlight first, which was the previous slide, Encinitas Day. If you guys remember, that was created to celebrate our strength and adaptability as we face unprecedented challenges. Encinitas 101, along with my sister Main Streets, have seen firsthand the determination and creativity of our local businesses and organizations. The theme of togetherness is one we hope to weave into our fabric of life. We hope to bring this back in this fall of this year, so you'll see that. Now back to our regular programming, which was the Taste of Encinitas. It's been around for 34 years now, which means I was born the first year Taste of Encinitas was happening here. But last year, our taste featured 20 taste stops, 20 sip stop locations. We sold out in record time and hope to do that again this year in September. This event, no doubt, showcases all of our restaurants, but it also allows attendees to explore some of the shops that they didn't know existed in downtown Encinitas. So if you want a tour of Encinitas, do our taste, and you'll get a good look of what our town has to offer. There are two other major events, which you see on the slide here, our Spring and Holiday Street Fair. This weekend actually is our Spring Street Fair, so come down if you can. It's going to be amazing. We sold out of all of our booths, too, so it'll be very, very busy. The event itself brings a tremendous amount of people to our downtown and the surrounding areas. The added foot traffic fills our local businesses during the weekend and is overall a huge success for downtown. It's a family-friendly event, even in the beer garden. Live music on multiple stages. Many local Encinitas vendors are also participating this year. Okay, so Encinitas Cruise Nights is one of my personal favorite events. I certainly enjoyed it even before joining E101. In the summer, we invite hundreds of classic car owners to join us each month and park in our reserved lots or along Highway 101. Whether you're walking or driving by, there is something incredibly special about seeing rows and rows of vintage cars on such a historic stretch of Highway 101. It transports attendees to a different time, definitely an event that you won't want to miss. And improving downtown lighting and increasing public art will always be a priority for Encinitas 101. As of today, Encinitas 101 has wrapped over 60 street poles with string lights, installed 30 orange starfish on the smaller green poles, and commissioned a total of 8 public murals in downtown. We're currently working on additional lighting and more artwork in downtown, so look out for that. So in closing, this year we're celebrating our 35th anniversary. It's just a reminder of how long we've been committed to a community that constantly inspires us, and we hope to continue providing such support for the Encinitas businesses and residents such as you guys. So thank you, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. I'm Bruce Ehlers. I'm the new council member from District 4. I thought there would be a little timer right here, and I thought the microphone would go off at 3 minutes, 1 second. So I'll try and be pretty succinct here. We've got pictures up of my family here. This is my family, and I've lived here for 39 years. Encinitas is that, and we love it here, Encinitas is that perfect mix of people, personality, and place. And we really enjoy it. My wife has always told me I could take a job anywhere in the country and just send the check here. She'll be fine. So I've been married to my lovely wife, Beth, up here on the screen for 39 years, and we have 3 daughters. They all went to the local schools and graduated from SDA. My wife and I and our dog, Reggie, love going walking on all the sidewalks through D4 and Encinitas and downtown Encinitas and through the trails, which is just a wonderful, wonderful asset to have here, the trails and the sidewalks everywhere. I'm the most recent elected member of the council. I've been here for 4 months, so I don't have a whole list of accomplishments to show you, so it'll be shorter, right? However, I have been involved for a couple of decades. I was on the Planning Commission twice, first 20 years ago, and then most recently the last 5 years. So with that, let's talk about some D4 accomplishments. And in D4, we opened Trail 95, which you see up on the screen now. And this is along El Camino del Norte and Olivenhain, and it connected some of the missing connections in the trails over there. So that's great. On Trail 82, we haven't built it yet, but we've done the design work. So we paid for the design work, and I applaud the previous council for doing that. But it still needs funding, of course. Hint, hint. Now, my next picture on the left here is a little less interesting, a little less photogenic. And I know this is all about photos, but that is the Olivenhain trunk sewer line, which required rehabilitation. But I thought it was a really good project. It's a good example of what I call a less than glamorous project. It's a crucial project. It has to get done. And it also is a multi-year project. And it's got a decade-long history. It's been going on for a while. The city council, a different city council a while ago, made it a high priority project in 2011. It was funded in 2017. Went before the Planning Commission in 2018. That's when I traipsed out through the wilds of Olivenhain and took those pictures, or that picture. And it eventually got built last year. But my point is that our accomplishments are often based on a decade or more of work by staff, by past commissioners, current commissioners, by volunteers, by even different council members. And tonight's accomplishments all come from a team effort. So we're all up here together, team. And in fact, I always tell everybody, you can't do this alone. I'm not up here alone. Tony's not up here alone. We have to all work together in concert over the long haul. And so I'm glad I'm up here with the 5 council members and 4 other council members. And I look forward to a very, very good year. Oh no, you're not getting off that easy. I can still go. So there are additional accomplishments things that have been approved but not built yet, such as the annual repaving of streets in D4. That actually happens to be right out in front of my house. So I actually got my street repaved after 35 years. So it does happen. I'm here to attest to it. And that was before I was on council, just to be clear.
Yes.
Just to be clear, everybody. And my council members joined me. We had some badly failing streets in the new Encinitas area, and we appropriated money for that, and I really appreciate that. The council also approved a mid-block pedestrian Z-crossing. That's the picture on the left, although it's between where Kohl's is and Ralph's, and that'll provide walkability in that area of New Encinitas. But what I really like to talk about is going forward. So 2023, 2024, and beyond. We've got a lot of things that we need to do, both in D4 and really citywide. Wildfire safety and updating our fire evacuation plan. I'm looking over here at Chief Gordon. Traffic, all sorts of traffic is probably the #1 concern for all residents. We've got implementing traffic calming throughout the city, but certainly in D4. Increased traffic enforcement. I'll look for the captain here. And then addressing e-bike driver safety. How many people have had trouble with, yeah, okay. So I think we all feel that way, and it's something we need to take up as a city. Trails, funding, again, another plug for my fellow council members, funding the trails along Rancho Santa Fe Road. And then the big one is El Camino Real, the El Camino Real specific plan and housing element update. And that is something that's huge, and we got to be very, very careful. When we did the revamp and even streetscape, the revamp of downtown, we did a light hand. And so we have to be careful that we don't overwhelm. And so I'm looking for, and I think the D4 members at least, are looking to enhance while also protecting New Encinitas from the character of New Encinitas, to prevent these improvements from overwhelming their neighborhoods and to keep the traffic flowing on the main arterials. So thank you, and I'm not quite sure who's next.
Allison.
Allison, I'm sorry.
Allison Blackwell.
I get to introduce the newest member of the council, Allison Blackwell. And where is she hiding? Right next to me.
So someone asked me tonight, are you nervous to get up and speak? And I said, oh no, I'm way more nervous about wearing heels after a long pandemic. So bear with me on that. So I think I am going to talk to you about District 1. And District 1 is part of Leucadia and New Encinitas. Can we go to the next picture? There we go. And like the others, I'm going to introduce my family. So this picture was taken on Grandview Beach. The Blackwell family spent a lot of time there since we've lived here. And I'm here with my husband, Rob. My son, Riley, is on the, I'm doing them in reverse birth order, but anyway, my son Riley is on the right, and he's finishing his graduate work at Columbia in New York. And Lila is on the left, and she is in clinical research living in LA. So not here with us, but they come to visit often. So I was appointed to the council in January. And I, thought, okay, I'm going to carry forward all the things Tony Kranz had started in District 1. And I also wanted to make sure we made some progress on affordable housing, on unhoused population, and infrastructure. The good stuff like how we get around and do things drain well, you name it. But as when I thought about what I'm going to say tonight, I thought I have to focus on the infrastructure. As I've talked to people in District 1, it is the #1 issue I hear about. It's on everybody's minds. And why is that? Well, we have some needs today for infrastructure. And more importantly, we have a lot of new development coming. And it's going to test that infrastructure even more. Lake Jason, Vulcan, anyway, so you know what I mean. I think, and how we've been addressing it, is important. I think we've got to take that on as a city and say, we have to meet this change, but we also have to help shape how people are going to get around by foot, by bike, by car. So there was a picture that went kind of quickly there, but I'll talk about some of the things that did happen last year. Some of those were just necessary things. We had to fix some sinkholes, thanks to a lot of atmospheric rivers. We had to pave a lot of streets. In fact, District 1 got 2.5 miles worth, the most of any district. Those are necessary, but we also had some significant improvements. Things like making the 101 better at that end of Leucadia, where we could cross better, like crossings at Diana. We had better bike paths and striping, and made some progress, even with the DG path from Vulcan to La Costa, which I've used many times. Those were nice, significant. We even had an innovative one, which is, trying to take some quick build money and address a traffic problem at that intersection of Eolas and Andrew and Hillcrest. So they did a traffic circle there. It was maybe not perfect, but you know what? It was fast, and it was an innovative way to address a problem and try to get a temporary solution at least and see if it worked. So what's ahead? Sure, there's some necessary stuff ahead. We've got a lot of stuff to continue to fix, like Beacon's parking lot, for example, at the beach. We've got to move that away from the bluff so the cars don't go over. So that's one. We also have to use some of that $4 million of federal funding we just received on drainage on the north part of Leucadia, or the 101. That will help a lot. We have a lot of lakes that we didn't expect to have after a rainy winter. And in terms of some significant things, well, Kelly mentioned streetscape, but it's not quite done yet. We've got segment C on that end of town, and that's going to be really, really great. We also have a mobility study underway for our housing element, and hopefully that will address things like Quail Gardens Drive and Vulcan, among others. I think the last thing I would just say is I don't ever think, stop and forget about things for the environment and open space. That's not infrastructure, but we're doing our part to think about the open space in District 1, even helping the Save Our Bluffs look at the bluff overlooking Mariquitos Lagoon and try to help them secure that as open space for generations to come. So, District 1, I'm wrapping up. Look, I think if there was a timer, I would be under 'em, I tell you. But anyway, I just want to say I feel so lucky to live in District 1. I feel really lucky to represent all the residents of District 1 and the city of Encinitas. I'm here and hoping to make our city better every day, and thanks for giving me the opportunity. Now I'm going to introduce the wonderful Brittany Corrales-Schmidt, who leads our Leucadia 101 Main Street Association. And by the way, we had just a great taste of Leucadia.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brittany Corrales-Schmidt, as you heard from Allison. I am the director of Leucadia 101. I've been here for just over a year, a wild year. More notably, I've been a volunteer for this nonprofit organization for about 12 years. So I had an approved presentation that I sent in 2 days ago. I decided to scratch that and just speak from the heart. I'm just going to keep it Leucadia. As many of you know, the 101s are really special organizations that put on arts, culture, and community events. That's essentially what Leucadia does too. I want to give a sincere thank you to all of the businesses and the humans that make Leucadia what it is. I don't want to talk about our accolades in the last year or what we plan to do in the next year, because you'll learn about that and you'll come and enjoy it. I want to give thanks to the people in the community that make it valuable and try to acknowledge the deep-rooted connections that we already have among us. So I'll start with the North End. That's where I am, that's where I live. I want to give thanks to Tom of Leucadia Donuts for always remembering me and my grandma as a unit. I currently also live with my grandma, like Kelly and her family. We share a wall and we share many stories, the same story many times over. My grandma's been taking me to Tom's since I was about 4 years old, and I just want to thank him because he makes everyone who steps into his shop feel like family. I want to give a shout out to my friends David and Mike, who now own the Leucadian Bar. They are always available to host our Leucadia 101 events. They like to collaborate on projects that help build trust between them, the city, and the local residents. They're new owners, and they're trying to save face. I also want to highlight someone named Mo. You might not know him, but he owns 101 Wines, formerly Royal Liquor. He's a great contributor, too. He has a wide space along the 101. He allows us to use it for our free trolley service, any event that we have a trolley. I wanted to give gratitude to Ray, the owner of Fish 101, who always generously donates delicious food and who does better work in the community by employing our local teenagers. I want to acknowledge our realtors like Sander Harth of Harth Team at Compass and Sunny of Beacon Realty, who's here with us tonight, who he's a little bit newer to Leucadia, and he gives back to our nonprofit organization regularly. I want to cheers our own board members, Todd of Leucadia Beach Inn and Nikki Harth of Surf House Boutique Hotel, who generously allow us to take over their private parking spaces to use to safely protect pedestrians during our events while displacing their own hotel guests. I want to thank Courtney and Willie of Hago's Tacos, who constantly reach out to ask me how to get involved with LO 101 and put on events legally, who also generously participated in Taste of Leucadia. I want to also thank some business owners, Jason and Jimmy, who are here with us tonight at our table, who are huge community assets. They are parts of the Corner Pizza, Valentina, Hamburger Hut, and Moto Deli. This group's generosity and collaboration and vision to generate community space is extremely valuable, not only to our community, but to me as a director of a Main Street. This group is always open to allowing L101 to use their space to host community events for residents, which furthers our mission to provide important programming no other organization provides to Leucadians. To our other board member, Brenda of the Corner Frame Shop, who consistently supports the arts by running Corner Frame Shop and always supports our arts events, thank you. To others like salon owner Eric Zamora, who was a former board member and has become a regular volunteer and advocate for L101 in his plaza, thank you. And to Eric's plaza neighbors, Heidi, the owner of Threadspun, and Debbie, the owner of Leucadia Floral and Plant. They're both courageous and very different businesswomen that I truly adore. To the watering holes that are a little bit more lighthearted, like Regal Seagull and Duckfoot Brewing, we welcome them and appreciate them for their passion to get people out of their houses and into a social setting in Leucadia and talking. As a community, we know the most important thing you can do is talk to your neighbor. I want to thank people like Karen, who own Coffee Coffee. I want Karen to know that her coffee shop is a beloved workspace of mine and truly a community gem. I want to say thanks to Juan. Juan is the owner of Cotija and has become an ally of L101. He's a quiet ally. He provides safe power sources for our musicians when we take over the Leucadia Roadside Park, and we have no other businesses in the area who lend power. There are, of course, a huge number of humans and businesses I couldn't fit into my allotted time, but my point is, Encinitas is only so valuable because of the people who are here actively creating these spaces and running these beautiful businesses we dearly love to gather at. On behalf of Leucadia 101, I want to remind everyone in this room that the people behind the small businesses are your neighbors, and they are the lifeline of this community. They are a major reason that I and we love to call Encinitas home. I hope that you will choose to patronize our Leucadia businesses because they mean a ton to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany, who I also know as B. Her mother was hanging out at Oakcrest Junior High in San Diego with me way back in the day. She is a Corrales, and the Corrales family has a long history here in Encinitas, and especially in the floriculture industries. So with that, I want to thank all my colleagues for speaking tonight about not only our city, but your districts. I will say that these folks that I serve with, I really appreciate them, their willingness to participate in the business of government. And it is challenging at times. We don't always agree. But in the 10 years that I've been doing this, I've served with a number of different people with a number of different perspectives on a wide range of issues. And when you get down to it, whether you're on the winning side of a vote or on a losing side of the vote, it's really important that we stay focused on doing what we think is best for our community. So having participated in the critical community conversation, which allow us to set policies for our professional staff to implement, I feel very good about the direction we're heading, and will continue to lead in our efforts to keep Encinitas a great place to live. As I wrap up my part of the formal presentation, I'd also like to mention another anniversary that recently passed. It has been 10 years since the Leech Tag Foundation purchased Ecke Ranch, and over the last decade, many things have happened at what is now known as the Leech Tag Commons, including the development of Coastal Roots Farm. And when you look at the screen, you can see some of the many things that they have contributed to the food insecure and continuing the agricultural tradition of this region, dating back to the days when indigenous people were living off this land. And one of the tenants at the Leech-Tag Commons is the Salk Institute, where they are working on a project known as the Harnessing Plants Initiative. And they're doing research on ways to develop plants that will be able to permanently remove CO2 from our atmosphere. And right next door, that same scientific innovation is also taking place at the San Diego Botanic Garden, where President and CEO Dr. Ari Novi is leading a team of scientists in the development of genome studies of interesting plants in the garden. They are conducting joint research which will contribute to critical learning about the plants that surround us. Garden staff are also involved with the removal of invasive species in our city and replacing it with native vegetation for a more sustainable future. These are all great things taking place in one of the most storied parts of our city, that central core, Encinitas Boulevard, Saxony, Quail Gardens Drive, and Leucadia Boulevard. And we want them to continue to thrive. And I think as a council, we'll continue to focus on that. But another important development is also taking place in this same area. And that is that as a result of our housing element update being approved by the state, there are about 1,000 units of multifamily housing that are being built in that same area. That will be a significant addition to the roads that are in need of mobility improvements so that walking, biking, or driving will be safer. While we must do our part to provide much needed housing, we also must address the impacts of this development. It will clearly need some improved infrastructure. As mayor, I'm committed to working with the community to find ways to make the road safer by adding walking paths, bike lanes, and other traffic calming treatments. So this experiment tonight in having a more collaborative state of the city, I think it was great to hear from everyone. I think that what's most important from tonight's event is that you leave knowing that we live in a place that is the greatest place on earth with some of the best people that we can live with. And so I will continue to serve as your mayor, focused on the enhancement of our quality of life. So with that, I would say thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate your support of the chamber and all that they do. And David, I think you're going to wrap things up. Thank you.